Hi guys, it's Jody from Arjet Creations. Just on here again today to start working some more on my little journal with the fabric cover. So we will get to that in a minute. In the meantime, I hope everyone's doing well. Everyone's healthy, getting ready for whatever holidays you're celebrating. And I hope you're all just having a really good day. Before we get started, I had said that I was going to show you the other scrappy embellishments that I made, and I forgot. So I thought I'd just show you these. So I just lifted them up to the camera. A variety of sizes. And colors using my handmade paper. And just little embellishments that I have. This one's got a little bit of a fabric trim on it. You can see that. And this one's got some lace. I did some with some words. So it says grateful. And the little birds there. Don't know if you can see it. So and here's a larger one. So those are just what I did the other day when I got off the camera. So I'll put those aside and we'll move on. Alrighty, so I'm back working on this journal and I'm going to do a little bit of work on the inside. So if you recall, last time we did this double pocket. So I'm just going to take that out and get it out of the way. What I'm going to do today is I want to give these pages a little bit of character to them. I am probably going to put in more pages in between these. So I figure with these ones I'm going to jazz them up just a little bit. So when I'm looking here, I'm seeing that there's a lot of red here and then there's this blue. So I'm thinking of picking up those two colors. So my idea is to use the Distress Oxide sprays and get a little bit of color on them. Then I'm going to try go over them with gesso and then do some stamping. So I'm not sure how much we'll get done in this video because we'll have to let it dry, but we're going to get started. So I'm just going to put these pages off to the side for now. And I'll move my stamps off to the side. Have a quick sip. And we'll get started. So I'm going to try using the Distress Oxide Fire Brick and Peacock Feathers. I'm hoping that that'll give us some color, and I'm not quite sure whether I'll do both colors on each page or whether I'll do half and half. So let's start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5, so we'll do 2 with one and 3 with the other, and then decide if we're going to add both colors or not. We'll start with the peacock blue. And I don't have a big spray bottle. I have these old mini misters from Ranger. They're really old, so we'll use those. And hopefully my table is clean. I'm going to give it a good shake. Oh, and I've never used this one, so I need to open it. So we'll get the scissors. I thought this was the one I used in my last project, but I guess it isn't. So just give me a second to get this open. So I have this week of work left, and then next week, and then I'm on vacation. And I go back right after the holidays, but I do have that week off, so I'm hoping to get lots of crafting done. I'm hoping to work on some digitals and get them uploaded. And I'm gonna do some Christmas baking. So I'm gonna try making savory shortbread. I've never made them before, but that's what I'm gonna try doing this year. Okay, so now that I got that open, we're gonna give it a quick spray. And then I'm gonna come in and I'm going to dilute it with quite a bit of water. And you'll see it change right away. And then I'll bring a sheet of paper in, and I'm just gonna dab it lightly, just to give it a little bit of color. And we'll do the other side as well. So I've never done this before, so I'm hoping it'll work. And we'll see. I'm going to water it down just a little bit more because it's pretty bright. And it's the same thing. Andrea from Artie Mays does this, and she makes it look so easy. I don't find it quite so easy. Okay, so I'm going to put those off to the side, and I'm hoping that they'll dry. We might have to get the gun out. And then I'm just going to clean this up, and we'll do a couple with the red. Okay, so this is fire brick. I have used this one before. And it looks pretty red, but if I recall, it kind of goes pinky once we add the water to it. So not as pinky as I remember. Okay, so I'm going to just grab my heat gun and see if we can get this a little bit drier. Okay, sorry for the noise, guys. Okay, so we'll let those other ones dry as we work on these ones here. So let's see what we have. So the blue turned out quite a bit busier. It's quite a bit more noticeable. It's not quite dry yet, and I'm thinking that the gesso will tone it down. And the pink here is quite faint, except in those certain spots. So let's see. Whoops, I need to wash my table. Let's see what we can do with this one. So I'm just going to get my gesso. I'm just using an acrylic gesso that I got at Walmart here. And I'm just going to put just a little bit on my table. I have a glass mat down, and that's why you guys can see my messy work surface today. And I had this upside down, hoping that it would be quick. So I just have just a tiny bit. I'm going to use a card here. And I'm just going to put some on just to see if what we can come up with. I don't want too much, but I do want a little bit. And I'm not 100% happy with that. It just seems a little bit too much, but we'll let it dry and see what happens. I'm just going to put a little bit on this side as well. This is kind of more what I'm looking for, just little bits and pieces. So this is really not what I had in mind. I'm confident that we'll be able to do something to fix it up, but I don't care. I don't like that as is. It might be okay once we get some stamping on it, but right now it needs some work. We're going to put that aside. So that leaves this one. I think we'll try a different method with this. I'm going to get a piece of this waxed paper here, jelly paper. I'm just going to cut it back a little bit since it's wanting to roll that way. I'm going to try putting the gesso on here and then dabbing it on here and see if I can get something that I prefer. So I'll just put a little bit of gesso on there. And just spread it out with the card. And then see how that works. Okay, yes, I'm liking that much better. Okay. So I'm just rubbing it on. Just to get a little bit on there. And can you see it? It just gives it a little bit more character. Whoops, and now I've gotten too much there. Let's see if we can get some off. You do have to be really gentle with it. Okay, I'm going to do some more on this side. And then again, just spreading it out. And then we'll just tap it on. Going to see if I can There. Okay, so I'm not minding that too much. We're going to let that dry aside, and I'll see if we can fix this one up a little bit by doing the same thing and just kind of getting some of those lines a little less noticeable. Oops, now I've got way too much gesso on here. So I'll have to be very careful. Ah. This is why I use a glass mat, because it cleans up. Because I don't know if you guys can see my desk, but it is, it's covered. Okay. All right, so that one's got way more gesso than what I had anticipated using, but that's okay. We're just going to set that aside, and we'll do, this one's dry. I don't know if the others will be dry enough to do. See if I can get less gesso this time. Okay, let's try this very gently. I think if I had used a smaller piece, would have been a little bit easier. Yeah, that's what you want to do, guys, is use a smaller piece. Look at that. Okay. So put that aside. With these, you want to be careful piling them on top of one another, because it gesso does have glue in it and they will stick together. The others are not dry enough, so we are just going to set this aside. I'm going to just try and clean off my work area a little bit. We'll shoot those with the heat gun for a minute, and then we will move on to some stamping and see what we get done. So I'm just going to spray some water on here, see if we can get it cleaned up a little bit. So for the stamping, I just have some script stamps, and I've picked out a brown stamp pad. And I thought we would just add a little bit of stamping here and there and see how it goes. All right, so let's get these back over. And I think this is the driest one. So we'll start with that. All right. So I'm going to use just a Versamark Archival multi-surface chalk ink pad is what I'm going to use. And I have a bunch of stamps here that I got. I don't know where I got them from. I'm just going to use this one to start with. And I'm just going to kind of plop it here and there everywhere. I think the stamp goes this way. So just to give it okay, so now we have that. Now it's going to be folded in the book. So you will only see a portion of it, and it's going to be up against probably some other type of paper, whether it be another coffee stained paper or possibly some book page or music paper. I'm going to put something else up against it. So I'm going to do the same on this side. Do I have the stamp upside down? I think I have the stamp upside down, so I'm hoping you won't be able to tell. Okay, so there's that. I'll put that aside. And I think this one's dry enough. So we'll see if some ink can help this one out. Now I'm getting the outline of it, and I'm not particularly liking that. I don't like the square look. So I'll try to touch more in the center and not get that line. There's a little there. I think I'm going to put a little bit more right over this crease. And then we'll do this side. So this side with more gesso, or this one with more gesso, I don't care for it as much as I like that first one we did. All right. I might go through my stamps, see if I can find some birds. And maybe give that some more red. But that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm thinking for these pages. Let's bring the book back in. I'm only going to bring the cover because I don't want red all over it, or paint and stuff all over it. But I'm liking that. I can work with that. Gives it a little bit of texture. I like the feeling of it. I really like how this one turned out. Okay, well guys, I think that's where we're going to leave it today. I'm going to dry off the other 3 sheets that we've done here. This one and then these ones that I need to add the gesso to. And I'll find some more papers and put together my signature so that next time we can maybe work on doing some pockets throughout. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Hope you have a good night. Bye now.